A superb Champions League victory for Chelsea. They blew away Barcelona 3-0 on a memorable night at Stamford Bridge. It was billed as the battle of the two teenage wonder kids, and for once it was Lamine Yamal who was outshone, with Chelsea's Brazilian teenager Estevão grabbing the headlines. A Jules Koundé own goal put Chelsea ahead. Ronald Araujo was sent off. The hosts took control after the break. Estevão scored a superb solo effort before Liam Delap added a third.
As you said, it's a big win, especially because the other team was Barcelona. But nothing changed in terms of what team we are, what we can achieve. So for sure it's important tonight game, but no more than that. The feeling was very good, especially as you said, because it was at home with our fans. It's always nice to share this kind of moment.
We started very well in the game. We had a big chance to score the first goal. The first goal, and of course with the red card, everything changed. So it's not easy against this fantastic team to come back with 10 players, so with one player less. So for me, we have to accept this defeat.
Majorly impressed. We said there about a start of a big week, and it's just played into Chelsea's hands tonight. It finished off with Ole football, cheers from the crowd, even just giving players like Neto, Reece James, Estevão, time to recover before the big weekend. And they've been to a man from start to finish. Honestly, Jules, they was absolutely sensational. Loving the fans there, especially at the bridge. And he's just one of them players, as soon as he gets the ball, you just feel like something's going to happen. He's just a bright spark. He's got that goal that can unlock defences. He's getting to grips with the Premier League and the physicality and the working hard as well. So the moment, the way the Project Estevão is in full flow.
And goodness me, I mean, he completely shone brightest last night, didn't he? And in the battle of the Wonder Kids, James, just how impressive was he?
He was brilliant. It was a battle between these two 18-year-olds, the best two 18-year-olds in world football for the first time. Hopefully we'll be seeing plenty more meetings between Chelsea and Barcelona and these two talented teenagers. But it was the Brazilian nickname Messinho back in Brazil because of his performances for Palmeiras. It's Messinho, Little Messi. And last night he stole the show, didn't he? Because he was absolutely brilliant. And he's been a real revelation for Chelsea since joining. He turned 18 in the summer. He actually played for Palmeiras in the Club World Cup before joining Chelsea this summer. 5 goals already for him. And he made a bit more history yesterday evening as well, a special evening at Stamford Bridge. But he had joined an elite club now. He becomes the 3rd teenager to score in his first 3 starts in the Champions League. And he joins quite an elite club because when you look at the other 2 teenagers to have done that, Kylian Mbappe and Erling Haaland. So the future certainly looks bright for Chelsea and for Estevão, the wonder kid.
Yeah, absolutely does. And look, after the game, Maresca said he expects Estevão and Yamal to be stars of world football, just like Lionel Messi and Cristiano Ronaldo. Look, these are huge shoes to fill. He was already in great company with those other big names as a young player. But look, is the comparison of this justified?
Well, I think the comparison of Estevão and Yamal is probably not justified at this stage because of what Yamal has done in his career so far. Stole the show at the age of 16, winning the Euros last summer at the age of 17. And he's far more established when it comes to playing club football and playing European football. Estevão just played 11 games for Chelsea now. But Maresca looked to build up the rivalry, it seemed, last night when he spoke to beIN Sports. And he says probably in the next 10, 15 years, Estevão and Lamine Yamal are probably going to be the next Messi and Ronaldo. No pressure there whatsoever. But then, interestingly enough, a few minutes later, he spoke in the press conference and seemed to play down any talks of that rivalry.
Estevão needs relax. He needs to enjoy. He needs to session. He needs to play football. Him, Lamine, they are so young with 18 that if you start to talk about Messi, Ronaldo, I think it's too much pressure for young boy like them. 18. They need to enjoy. They need to arrive at the training ground, happy, session. But when you start to compare them with Messi or with Ronaldo, I think it's too much for them.
Well, look, goodness me, it is a huge week for Chelsea, isn't it? Because, look, they've got Arsenal, although at Stamford Bridge. They welcome them on Super Sunday. What a Super Sunday that's going to be. And they've had this huge boost here. Do you think they're title contenders? How much of a statement would it be for this win and then to go and beat Arsenal or get something from that game?
Well, I think what last night's win did, it stamped down their credentials as a team that could win something this season. I spoke to Enzo Maresca last season, and the plan always was for this season for them to finish in the top four. But because they did so well last season, obviously the ambitions have changed somewhat, and perhaps Chelsea can compete for honours this season. There's been key injury blows, the likes of Cole Palmer, Levi Colwill out for the remainder of the season. But Chelsea are in a position now where they can go to Stamford Bridge with real confidence, taking on Arsenal, who were brilliant against Tottenham. One thing we know is that Chelsea are now fifth in their Champions League groups. They're looking well placed right now to qualify for the knockout stages. And now it's 3 wins on the bounce, 3 wins on the bounce without conceding. And yesterday, that shutout against Barcelona, the first time in 53 matches that Barcelona have not scored. So that says something about that Chelsea backline, despite some of the injuries they have. They will stay second in the Premier League, even if they beat Arsenal at the weekend. But Enzo Maresca believes they've got a real chance of doing something special, and they could potentially beat Arsenal this weekend. Let's see what he had to say.
I told the players, next 48 hours, completely switch off, our rest, recovery energy, because then Sunday we have Arsenal. But my message after the game was just, recovery energy, that in this moment is the most important thing. And then from Friday we start to think about Arsenal. We need to keep the momentum, because it's very nice, and it's much more easy to recover energy when you win games.
Look, Chelsea still without Cole Palmer. He did return to training this week, and actually we saw him at Stamford Bridge as well, didn't we, last night?
We did see him. We weren't sure whether or not he'd be in the matchday squad, but there was a Cole Palmer outside Stamford Bridge yesterday evening. We saw the ice-cold Cole Palmer, and actually he trademarked this celebration and Cole Palmer as a nickname in October. So he's done well to trademark that. We did see him last night. Whether or not we see him this weekend, we wait to see, because he's had a groin injury. We've not seen him since that game against Manchester United when he came off in the early stages. So it has been a long period of time now. I think Enzo Maresca will be delighted the way they've coped without him. So he had that groin injury, then he stubbed his toe on a door last week, so he fractured his toe, as you rightly say, back in first-team training on Monday. But Maresca was saying at the start of this week, it seems unlikely he'll feature again on Sunday against Arsenal, but there's maybe an outside chance that he'd be on the bench, and what an opportunity that would be for Chelsea to bring him on with 10 minutes to go to potentially make his return in glorious fashion. Because if Chelsea win against Arsenal this weekend, they'll go 3 points behind Arsenal in the table. And at that point, if Chelsea are victorious this weekend, surely we have to consider them as title contenders.